one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Visionalysis. This one, I'm here to talk about a couple things. First and foremost, Islam Makhachev is allegedly injured. Therefore, we're not going to be seeing Islam Makhachev in that octagon perhaps anymore 2024. It's at least where it's shaping up to be. We also are going to talk about Arman Tsarukyan's call for an interim title. Who would be Arman Tsarukyan's opponent if that was to happen? I don't put anything out of the realm of possibility, especially in the UFC. So while things can happen, we do understand that Arman Tsarukyan is serving a ban. I'm going to delve into that and so much more. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel. Your channel, the one and only MMA Visionalysis. Whether Islam Makhachev was injured or not, the simplest way to put it is that Islam truly does not have an opponent, especially taking into consideration that the number one contender, the guy that's actually earned his shot, is serving a, I want to say 9-month ban. It's not so clear. There is no clear number in terms of months for Arman Tsarukyan's ban. I don't know how that works. I'm pretty sure if there is a ban, then we expect that to be in effect, and we don't expect any exceptions to be made just because we cannot attack fans. It's just regardless of what the guy says to you, what happened in terms of Arman Tsarukyan, it's just unacceptable to attack a fan. You are a mixed martial artist. I believe when you have those skills, then you have to carry yourself in a respectful manner. I do understand that people are gonna try to attempt in every way to provoke responses from you, and unfortunately for Arman Tsarukyan, you did exactly that. You were provoked at the end of the day. I believe that all professional athletes and everybody who is famous, man, but especially people who get paid to fight, you have to understand that whatever is being said is no real threat. You have to understand that that is not a real threat. If you are Arman Tsarukyan, how is a fan, which I don't know the fan in all honesty, could have been a bigger guy, could have been a fighter. You don't know who's who. But at the end of the day, you are Arman Tsarukyan, a professional fighter, UFC fighter. You're going in there against Charles Oliveira, UFC 300, arguably one of the biggest events that has ever been put together in the world of combat sports history. And, you get provoked by a fan. I think there is a lot to be discussed there, and if there is a ban, then we expect the ban to take effect throughout the entirety of the time without any sort of exception, just because we don't want to see this kind of thing happen. You are a professional fighter. You fight in the UFC. You are walking out to face the former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira. UFC 300, the biggest event, at least that the UFC has ever put together up until that moment, and the UFC keeps topping themselves. But that's not the point of the conversation here. Arman Tsarukyan, serving a ban, obviously, puts, realistically, Islam Makhachev out of opponents, in all honesty. I did suggest that Michael Chandler could perhaps be next, just because he is the most ready fighter. Gamrot has a fight, I believe, against Benoit Saint Denis, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say Gamrot has a fight against Benoit Saint Denis. That is, I want to say most certainly. I would have to double check on that. Poirier just fell short. Obviously, Poirier had just defeated Saint Denis before facing Islam Makhachev. Charles Oliveira, obviously former lightweight champion, lost to Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan is serving a ban. Justin Gaethje recently got knocked out by Max Holloway, so puts Justin Gaethje out. And nobody really knows what's going on with Justin Gaethje. Pretty sure he's going to need some time to recover, but you cannot put Gaethje in there against Makhachev after being knocked out against Max Holloway, a 145er. They did fight at 155, but Holloway is a 145er. Matter of fact, he's going back down to fight Ilia Topuria. I believe that's set for UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. That being said, puts Gaethje out of the equation. I've said it numerous times, dozens of times. I thought that Gaethje was going to give Islam the toughest time. I don't want to go as far as saying that Islam Makhachev does not have competition in that lightweight division. I don't think that would be an accurate statement. There are upcoming names that could possibly give Islam Makhachev a hard time, but could. You have to underline that 3 times. He has faced the who's who, the likes of Poirier, the likes of... he already faced Arman Tsarukyan, obviously Charles Oliveira, and so on. So I think that just incentivizes Islam Makhachev even more, just taking into consideration that the number 1 contender is Shirvanaban. Why would Islam fight anybody else? He can't move up to that welterweight. You guys noticed that we only started hearing about this injury after Bilal Muhammad became the welterweight champion. I personally did not hear anything about Islam being injured prior to that. So I think there's a correlation there. I don't mean to make correlations when there aren't any, but I'm just kind of, filling in the blanks. There was talks of Islam going up to that welterweight division. I think really if obviously Leon Edwards would have beat Bilal Muhammad, then we would have seen that move up. I think that would have been inevitable. Obviously, Bilal winning the title puts everybody's plans at hold, not only in one division. I want to go as far as saying in 3 divisions. Truthfully, it's directly affected the welterweight division because, Leon Edwards was talking about moving up to 185 right before the fight, which kind of translated to me as if they were overlooking Bilal, and that was exactly the case, I think. So the 185 move is gone for Leon Edwards. He has to get back in there and try to take that title back. Islam cannot move up to that weight class, the welterweight. He's not going to fight Bilal. I said that immediately after the fight, and Islam did confirm it. And obviously, Islam has to stay there and fight Arman Tsarukyan because that's the only guy that really, truthfully deserves a chance at this moment. He's already faced the guy, and the guy is actually facing a suspension, so that fight's not going to happen anytime soon. So I think, the smallest injury, Islam is going to take the opportunity to just kind of chill, lay back, see how things play out. Very strategic, very smart from the AKA camp. I do understand that I think this decision was made collectively. One of the best gyms around. A huge fan, produced so many champions, double champs, the likes of DC. A huge fan of AKA. I think it's a very strategic move for Islam Makhachev to just hang out, see what happens, just wait everything out. I don't think you're losing anything if you're Islam, especially if you're dealing with an injury. I'm just saying, this injury thing only came up after Bilal won that title, and, obviously Arman Tsarukyan serving him. It doesn't make sense for him to face Chandler. For Islam, it doesn't. There is nothing to gain from facing Chandler. Chandler has it all to gain. Now, we have the guy that's actually on suspension. I don't think Arman Tsarukyan gets what's happening around him. With no disrespect to Arman Tsarukyan, but I don't really think he's drawing the correlations. I'm not sure if he's aware that he's serving a ban, but he did suggest that, he wants an interim title since Islam's going to be out. I really think that Tsarukyan doesn't want to fight Islam. I mean, 302, he allowed Poirier to take his place. And yes, he did allow, because that he was supposed to be up next for that title, obviously. He's even criticized for not taking the shot. And And then now he hears about, Islam being injured. And the only reason I think Islam is coming out with this injury is because Tsarukyan himself is serving a ban. So he really has nobody to fight. That's why he's taking. I don't think Tsarukyan kind of gets that. Obviously, Tsarukyan suggesting the interim title, perhaps against Chandler. I believe out of all of this, there's two things that pop into mind immediately. Obviously, three, really. I think Islam Makhachev is super disappointed that he cannot go up in weight, even though he has a love for his friend, and I think he has a happiness inside of his heart for his friend winning that title. But I think Islam ultimately wanted to move up in weight. I think he's very upset the fact that he can't do that as of yet. I really do think so. Number two, I think that Arman Tsarukyan truthfully does not want to fight Islam again. I mean, I really do believe that. I think that Arman Tsarukyan is not so interested in fighting Islam Makhachev just because it's I don't know. I don't know with Tsarukyan. He's a very, very interesting guy. But he had his chance to face Islam UFC 302, passed up on the opportunity, and obviously Poirier went in there. And also, I want to add to that the fact that I think we have Chandler here. He's getting no justice, I think. He's just being super unlucky. I really thought Chandler was going to be up next for the title. Obviously, Islam is not interested in fighting Chandler. Chandler wanted to fight, obviously, McGregor. McGregor keeps stringing him along, and that's just, I think everyone's just going to stop talking about McGregor at some point. So we have Tsarukyan now suggesting that interim title. Perhaps it could happen. You never know, but I'm pretty certain that Tsarukyan is serving a ban. So there's a huge possibility that could not happen. Champion of the division out injured. Chandler's just kind of left hanging once again. Unfortunately for Chandler, also one other thing that I like to add is that, these interim titles just kind of, you don't want to, just start handing those out as if they're candy. You know what I mean? I think Islam Makhachev is not going to be out for long. 2025, early year, by March, I think Islam is going to be in that octagon again. What happens in that lightweight division that's very interesting? I don't know. It's very interesting. But as of now, the champion is out injured. Tsarukyan suggesting a interim title. Michael Chandler's kind of getting the short end of the stick here. I do understand that some people might say, how is Chandler involved in all this? Well, Chandler is a top name in that division, whether we want to consider that or not. It's really up to you. But Michael Chandler is one of the toughest fighters in that lightweight division, and I stand behind those words. I'm a huge fan of Chandler, and all of them, in all honesty. Nothing but respect. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and like, subscribe for more.